Okay, so we all know how to get to the portal, right? So that's where we should be going right now. So your screen on your portal might look a little bit different than hers, but it should look similar to this. Y'all should know what the portal is. Okay, so in just a minute, I'm going to get you to something called ALEKS. It's ALEKS, and it's an acronym for something. I don't know what it is. It doesn't even matter. But it's connected to our textbook. It's not actually in the textbook. It's just like an additional thing, but we got to get through the textbook to get there. And ALEKS works a lot like Khan Academy does. It's intuitive. It will start you where you are and get you where you need to be. It's something that we tried when we first got these textbooks, and I think y'all were the group of kids that started with the tablets, right? Like it was the first year, y'all were in my class when the first year you got your tablets, I think. So one day in class, I tried to we were going to go through the textbook and I was going to show you everything, and we'd get to ALEKS, and like nothing worked. The textbook site didn't work, the Wi-Fi wasn't working, it was like a freaking nightmare, and so we all just gave up. On top of that, the training that we got for both of these things was not that great, and a lot of times the people in the training, like we could sit there and figure out more than what they could actually tell us. But I wish I had now gone back and tried ALEKS again, because I think that it could be very, very good for you. It is not something that your calculus book will have, and I know some of y'all are seniors, so it doesn't matter anyway. So this is probably the last year you'll have access to it. But not only, I mean, yes, in a way, y'all are kind of my guinea pigs, but at the same time, it could still benefit you. It would have been nice if somebody had told me I should have started this sooner, but before we can do anything, because I can assign things in ALEKS too, but before it even lets me assign anything or do anything with it, you have to go in and take an initial knowledge check. And I don't know how many questions it is for y'all. That's not something I can even look at. I don't know what exactly it's going to ask you. I don't know exactly how many questions. For the initial knowledge check, you cannot go back and see what you got right and wrong. I cannot go see what you got right and wrong. You will be asked some things we haven't done yet. That's okay. You're going to click I don't know, and you're going to move on. You answer what you can answer. But then once that's done, you can go back into ALEKS, and you can actually work on things that you need to get you where you need to be. Sometimes it's not the pre-cal that you're stuck on. Sometimes the things that are holding you up is the factoring. So there's like a little piece of the pie that can help you make sure you get your factoring or whatever. But then there's also things that are specifically for the course that you're in that I could assign like as homework or like as extra practice or a review or whatever. And the nice thing about those when we get to that point, which I can't even get to till you do the initial knowledge check, is that let's say I assign you 10 problems. Okay, so you're looking at this problem, you're like, I don't know, I don't get it. You can click on something that will show you a worked example and explain it to you, and then you can go back and try and work the problem. So it's kind of a nice way to do some things, although it is math on the computer 100%, which I don't love, but it is something. But I do think, you can use ALEKS on your own and get help with skills you might need, and then there's also some things that I can assign. But again, I can't do any of it until you finish the initial knowledge check. So we're going to get it started today. I'm going to make sure you know how to get there. It's pretty easy, but it might seem a little weird at first. And make sure you know how to get there. And then once you finish it, I can see that you finished it. Don't stress out over what grade you get. I think it gives you some sort of percentage. I don't know that it's possible to get 100 because that's not what it's trying to go for. Don't worry about what that number is because I don't even know what it means. But if you finish it, you get 100. You don't, you get a 0. Okay? And I'm going to count it as a quiz grade, but I'm going to give you until Monday because there's no way you'll be able to fit. Well, I say there's no way. You can if you just randomly put numbers in. Don't do that. That you won't finish during MavTime, because I did this with my geometry kids and they didn't even finish in an entire class period plus a little bit more. I would imagine that you're going to get about the same amount of questions, but again, I don't know the answer to that. So they got 31 questions. It gives you a little like meter on how far you've gotten, but I don't think it actually gives you a number up there. If I assign you questions after we do this, it shows you exactly how many, and it makes way more sense for homework. So this is just kind of, we've got to do this, we have no choice. So when you're at the portal, to get to your textbook, which you may have never been there, even though it is there for you to get to all of your textbooks, in case you didn't know this, there's an IM in libraries down here. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and that takes me to all of the textbooks that are available. So the one that is your math textbook, your pre-cal textbook, is the Connect Ed with this little, the Texas. So what you can do, because if you notice back here at your home, she only has 2 rows. You may see 3 rows. You may only see 1 row, just depending on how your scaling is. But you can go to oh, well, maybe she only has 2 because she doesn't have any favorites. You always have the defaults and your recents, but then you can also make a row of favorites so that you don't have to go hunt for things again. So when you're here on this Texas, if you right click on it, then this pops up and you can click add to favorites. And if you don't really want it there, you can always go back and take it out. So now she has a home and then a home too. And that's where the list of her favorites would be, so that you don't have to, if you feel like you're always having to go and hunt for something. Now, obviously, after we go to it, it will be in her recents as well, but if it's been a while, it disappears from your recents. So just trying to show you how to handle the portal there. So we're gonna go to the textbook. Now, you can do things, and I can assign things to the textbook too. I don't think I will ever do that because I tried that. I used my geometry kids as a guinea pig last week, and it's not user-friendly at all. Pre-cal may be the only thing that pops up for you. I think that we only have math and social studies from this publisher, but it's not even all the social studies. So is everybody with me here? You're at least here. Then you just select the textbook you want, which may be the only textbook you have there. And I can't tell if anything's happening, but actually. All right, I may need you to click on it, Maria, because I think you still can't. It just doesn't like me for some reason. There we go. All right, so now when you get here, let me just show you something about the textbook. Let's say that you need more help. Well, first of all, if you click on ebook, which I'm not going to because it pops up and stuff, but that's the actual textbook as a digital thing. And over here, if you go to resources, maybe there we go. So here are the chapters in the textbook, and we are on trigonometric functions. And then I can go to this, and here's 4.7, which is law of sines and cosines. So in here, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff over there. There's worksheets that don't do you any good, really, because you don't have the keys to them, and that's not the worksheets that I'm assigning. So even if it is, they're cut and pasted from there. But one thing that is there is a check, which is a little quiz. I'm not sure if this will pop up right when I click on it or not. Oh, it does. Okay, so there's a little quiz. It's probably 5 questions that it tells you to solve the triangle. Now it's going to be to the nearest 10th or whatever, but if you don't know how to do it, you need a hint. You can click on that. It gives you a little hint. Your only hint is use the law of sines, but it's something. This isn't the show me a worked example because this isn't an ALEKS, but once you did that, you can submit it and it will grade it for you. It does not count as a grade in the grade book. I may not even be able to see that you did it. I'm not 100% sure, but it is just a little, a little way for you to check yourself. And other resources there for, I don't know if it would have it specifically for this section. There's not, but for some of the sections, there will be, let's see if there's a graph. There's a watch things. There's like another little video. Y'all probably like what you can Google and find on YouTube better anyway, but there is stuff in the textbook. So just showing you that those things are there if you choose to use them. Okay, but if you went there with me, just click on the word pre-calculus up here at the beginning or up at the top, and then it takes you back to this screen. So if we go from the portal, click on the textbook here, we're in the textbook. You could ignore everything else if you want to right now. But this little pie chart looking thing, that's ALEKS. So we're going to click on that. Then it takes you back to where the resources were, like I just showed you. But then you're going to click on ALEKS again here. So now it's taking you out of the textbook. If you have your pop-up blocker on, it may not actually take you here. I'm not real sure. I can come back. I can come around and help you individually in just a minute. But so don't get ahead of me here because you're going to want to pay attention to what you're actually doing. So it brought you to ALEKS. It's going to tell you a little bit about it. You're going to click next, but again, don't do that because part of this is showing you how to type in answers and showing you some simple tools. It's going to take you through a real quick, maybe 5 or 6 step. This is how you type things in. This is how you can graph a line and plot points. And you just kind of follow through that. Then it will allow you to start the initial knowledge check. Okay, and then as you go through that initial knowledge check, you are going to just have to finish that before you can do anything else. Okay, you may want some scratch paper. You may or may not need it. I can't, like I said, I have no idea what it's about to ask you because I can't see that. If you feel like you have no clue, we haven't done it yet, click I don't know. It's okay to put I don't know. I had some some other students with serious anxiety, like if I can't answer them all, then something's wrong. It's okay. It's okay to put I don't know. Don't put it on all of them because you do know some of them. At least try, because if you try and you get certain wrong answers, it also knows other things about you that it can help you with. Okay? Does that make sense? Any questions about that? And so when the bell rings and you're not done, you just close it out. It'll start you right back up. It won't let you do anything else in ALEKS until you have finished this initial knowledge check. So get as much done as you can. I am going to give you until Monday. That's way more time than you actually need. 99% sure doing this on your phone would be a nightmare. I think it may be possible, but I don't think it's going to work out very well for you. Okay? Are we good? Any questions? And you probably won't have the exact same question as your neighbor. If you need notebook paper, there's some on the back counter back there. Okay? Anybody have any questions about this? All right, great. If you do individually as you go along, I will help you. For those of you that were absent Friday or today in class, I'm going to have you go ahead and get started on this, but I'm going to have you do something else as well.